Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
Good morning to you. It is Coffee and Time on ON, AM, and FM. Monday morning, it's November 4th. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Callahan. That's Dave Richards right over there. Good morning to you, Dave.
Hey, what do you know?
And because it's the day before the election, we said, let's bring in a politician. Or an ex-politician, really.
That's dangerous.
I know it is. There's a former mayor of the town of Cumberland, Bill Murray, with us. And good morning to you, Mayor.
Good morning. How are you, Joe?
We're doing all right.
Good.
Well, we can ask him questions that we can't ask average people. Like, okay.
You're not an average person.
I'm not average? Okay.
You're above average. Right?
Above average?
Well, no, he's got experiences that
All right.
your average person doesn't have.
True.
Okay.
Like, for instance, Bill, you've run for election, what, 5 or 6 times? How many
Let's
times
see.
was it?
No.
Hasn't been that
ran
many?
town council and
You
the
were a
mayor.
late bloomer.
Well, yes. I was. Well, I didn't run until I was 72.
Yeah, you were a regular
72.
guy until somebody convinced you to run for office.
And he's sitting up as the governor of Rhode Island.
He is
And
now,
and I still hold it against him. No, I'm only kidding.
Yeah.
He talked me into running for council because he didn't have the votes his last year as mayor.
Right.
So he called me 4 times. I was on the golf course, to be frank, and he called me 4 times.
And you were already retired.
And I was semi-retired.
Yeah.
I had my own business, but I was trying to get out of it a little bit. So what happened was I finally decided a half an hour before filing time to race down to Cumberland. I was
Wow.
in Attleboro at Highland Country Club. And I never told my wife till I came home, and she said,
Guess what?
You did what?" And I had no intention of running for political office.
I've had that look before when I bought a radio station.
Oh, well, okay, we both know it then. We both experienced. So it was, once I got into it, I had Bonnie Lodge and Joe Fleming were on my, kind of got me, it was my committee. They were my kind of my strength. They've been into it before. And I told the story the other day. Somebody asked me, and I said, all Joe Fleming kept saying to me, go door to door, go door to door. He's a big one on that. And he was right, and because I had no idea what to do. And I had an opponent, and I beat him pretty good. And so then the governor who was mayor, now had control of the council. And that's how I got into it. And I enjoyed it. In fact, I ended up as the liquor commissioner on the council, and everybody kind of laughed at that one. Irishman as the liquor commissioner.
Yeah.
And
Is it just yes all the way
especially,
around?
too, when I came out once and it was in the breeze, I said, I want less bar stools. And boy, did I have a few people that knew me go after me.
I bet.
And but I was serious because we had a couple of bars in Cumberland, believe it or not, that were, let's say, bars, and we didn't like what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I put an effort into trying to control them or get rid of them.
All right.
Well, that's all in the past. But what I was really interested in knowing is here it is. There's always a Monday before the Tuesday election. Mm-hmm. And you've worked your fess off for all during the summertime and all during the fall here. And now you're looking at it. The goal is clearly in sight.
Right.
It's tomorrow.
Right.
Now, when you wake up tomorrow, you can do only one thing. Stay out of trouble and vote, right? Usually. I mean, nowadays you could vote early.
Show your face.
Right. You really can't do much at that point because you've got, the song has been sung, the
Right.
dance has been danced, and now it's time to find out what everyone, what the voters think, what the
Correct.
judges think. All right. But what is the feeling on Monday? Are you overwhelmed with a sense of, did I forget to do something? Is there anything I could do today?
I think you just nailed it.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing that comes to mind. Did I do everything?
So we got a whole bunch of
Yeah,
people out there who are
right.
thinking this today.
Did I do everything that I should have done? Your adrenaline is flowing because
Yeah,
excuse me,
because you're in the race.
you're in the race, And now the anticipation is, has it been enough? And you'll start second guessing yourself. Should I have done this? Should I have done that? And it's kind of a eye opener on the day before, because basically, as you just said, Tuesday you go into it, and really all you're doing is showing your faces around the polls in case somebody sees you. And I'm not a big one, and you probably remember it. A lot of times, it used to be people handing stuff out at the polls.
Yeah, well, they
And
kind of
don't do it.
You
They
gotta
don't
be
do
50
it.
feet
It's
away.
a waste.
And
It's a waste of time now. It was a waste then, because most people take it. I've been involved in campaigns before, and they take it and throw it in the basket. So I'm not. I wasn't a big one on that. And now
Well,
it's.
what are you going to do with it all anyway?
Yeah,
You
right.
got all these boxes of the stuff back at headquarters.
Well,
You might as
you're
well-
still going to have it. But so the next day is really you're walking around, and hopefully somebody will see you at the poll and say, "Oh, that's right, there's Bill Murray," and go in and vote.
Yeah.
But again, going back to the day before is a very nervous time, right into the evening, because
Is it a busy time too?
well, you should make it busy.
Okay.
If you're running, you should be touching base now. As an example, somebody that I've been work with in Cumberland, because here's the new thing is this voting at town hall.
Yeah.
Right now, he's going to be at town hall all day today, and another rep that's running in Cumberland called me last night and asked my advice, and he's going to be at town hall. There's quite a bit, like just in Cumberland alone, there's almost 5,000 walk-ins, or if you
Early
want,
voters?
Early voters, yeah.
We've got numbers here for Woonsocket. Do you want to go into those now, Joe?
Yeah,
or
sure.
Do
We
you
got
want to
time
do them
for
later?
No, we got time for numbers.
We reached out to Gianna Salvestano. It's a very busy time for her. She is the manager of the Woonsocket Board of Canvassers and Registration. And we invited her on the show this morning, knowing full well she probably has her hands full all day
does. She
today.
does.
I know she
because
does.
now she's getting to be a funny thing about that, she's got Showtime on the 5th, but she's had Showtime for the last 2 weeks too, but in a more controlled way. But tomorrow the chaos starts and all the emergencies, and she's putting out fires all
Tough
day,
job.
hoping that things work out. Well, she's a spunky kid, and she'll rise to the occasion. I have no doubt in my mind. But she says she doesn't think she can swing being here this morning, although thanks for the invitation. She says, do let the voters know, I'm reading right from her email, folks, that we are ready for Tuesday, tomorrow, and that they can find out where they should be voting by visiting the website, vote.ri.gov. And if you don't have a computer, you can go to your local library, and they will be able to hook you up with a computer to go and check that out too. And you can use, if you have a telephone, and so many people do, thanks to Mr. Obama, you can use the voter hotline. And in Rhode Island, if you dial 211, there's a voter hotline that will come up when they answer the phone, and you put in the information about where you reside and where you're registered to vote, and the town or municipality.
Yeah, I never knew that.
And they will tell you what building you will vote at.
Wow. I never knew that. That's new one
So
on me.
it's new. It is
Yeah,
new.
I
It
guess
is
so,
new. There's nothing
yeah.
wrong with you, Bill. That's new.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, nothing wrong with you. You've been in touch, but it's something new this year. So you got the voter hotline at 211. Okay, now she also answered a couple of questions I had about the early voting. You could find this out online, but since I was talking to her, I just asked her, and she says in Woonsocket, you mentioned 5,000 early voters in Cumberland.
Yeah, close to
Wow.
it. Not as of Friday, actually. So
Yeah.
it had nothing to do with today.
Well, we're somewhere behind you. We're at 3,400
Well.
altogether. When you count the 1,027 mail ballots that have been received, and they could be received up until 8 o'clock tomorrow night, but they're actually in their hands by 8 o'clock tomorrow
By the
night.
time the
Otherwise,
polls
then they
close
don't
at
close.
8 o'clock,
8
they have
o'clock
to be in.
tomorrow night.
Right, exactly.
Right. Mail ballots must be in their hands.
Right.
Delivered. So anyway, but they have 1,027 of them already, and they have 2,394 people who have voted early so far. Probably be over 2,400 by the end of today. So that's how many votes have been cast that are in the custody of the Board of Elections, and they'll be counted in due order. Now, we have more information.
Keep going.
Yeah, okay, just wanted, because the clock's behind me, I couldn't tell. We have more information. Now, tomorrow, of course, is the voting in person. Early voting and all the rest of that we just addressed.
Is
Mailed-
that 7 a.m.?
Right. Early voting results will be transmitted by the local boards of canvassers tomorrow, and they will be available on the Board of Canvassers website beginning at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. And I don't know if everyone agrees with this. I imagine it's something that could be debated, but I look at it and I say if it's an error, it's error for the sake of being as fair and less complicated for everybody. Let me explain that comment, Bill. They're not going to post on their website, the Board of Elections, any vote that they have in their hands, no matter how long they've had it in their hands. They're not going to post it until 8 o'clock tomorrow night when all the live polling places close. And I suppose that's pretty good, because if you're looking during the day and you're seeing that this many votes is for this many votes is for that, it could really complicate things during the day. And there could be claims of someone manipulating
Correct.
something, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So they're
It's
just
dangerous.
right? So none of the votes will be made public until all the voting places close and voting is over.
That might be by law too, that they can't.
Could be. I don't know if it's
I'm
it's
just
the law.
saying it makes sense that it shouldn't happen, because that could cause a lot of.
But there is actually a calendar for what the elections people are doing right straight through the November 21st. And here it goes. Tomorrow, November 5th, ballots that are cast in person at polling places on November 5th, that'll be me. They're encrypted, securely transmitted from the polling place to the Board of Elections when the polls close at 8 p.m. They'll receive them electronically. Early voting. Those results will be transmitted by the local Board of Canvassers tomorrow on November 5th and will be available on the elections website beginning at 8 p.m. Mail ballots. Now, while the board expects to count most mail ballots by November 5th, by tomorrow, ballots placed in authorized drop boxes at city and town halls or in polling places must still be tabulated, as long as they have them by 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Those ballots are sealed in envelopes and held in a secure, sealed container by the local Board of Canvassers and then delivered to the Board of Elections on Wednesday, November 6th. Partial mail ballot results will be available on the Board of Elections website after 8 p.m., but will not include those drop box ballots. Then, November 6th and 7th, Wednesday and Thursday of this week, the remaining drop box ballots and any still uncounted mail ballots will be added to the mail ballot total and made available on the website. Any precincts which fail to transmit their results by any means on November 5th at 8 p.m. due to a technical issue or whatever will be added to the election results and made available on the elections website on the 6th and the 7th. Then, Friday and Saturday, provisional ballot results will be added to the polling places. Those are provisionals. You remember what those are. Those are somebody votes late or votes weird or comes in and is not registered to vote.
Not sure.
Those
Yeah,
are provisional
right.
ballots.
Yep.
And then they will be added on Friday and Saturday. Then next week, Saturday actually through the 12th, through Tuesday the 12th, military, overseas ballots, and deficient mail ballots cured by voters. There's a problem, the voter was called in, they could fix it.
Yep.
They are due to the Board of Elections by November 8th through the 12th and will be added to mail ballots results and put on the website. Then finally, after all the dust settles, November 21st, the Rhode Island Board of Elections anticipates certifying final election results. So chances are it's not really over until November 21st.
Absolutely. And if you look at it, really, the sequence is very good.
Deliberate.
I mean, it's deliberate, and you have to say fair, because it gives all the opportunity to make sure every ballot is
Respected.
checked out, respected. Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
right.
that's a good word.
Every
And-
vote is respected,
exactly.
and if it can be counted, it
Right.
will be counted.
Well, I know because obviously when I was mayor, the canvassing is under the mayor's. I mean, we don't control
No.
control it as a mayor, but
The state really
the pe-
does, but
yeah,
it's under your purview.
But the people
because it's an
well,
operational
like
part
in
of government.
our case in Cumberland, a gal who does a fantastic job, done it for many years, Sandra Giovanelli, and she has it right. She knows exactly what you're just reading now in Woonsocket. She has it in Cumberland, and they'll go right into the evening, and I always remembered because the first time I ran, I didn't get even though it was a pretty good margin, because I ran against two people, we didn't get the final. They said to us, "You're not going to know the final,
No.
absolute final one
Go to bed and
until
dream about being elected.
you just celebrate until you realize you just get yourself a job."
We had a special election not so long ago here in Woonsocket where Roger Gillette was running against Alexander Kithis. And it was a special election to the council. And Roger Gillette went to bed thinking he won. And he hadn't.
How many times is that? Well, Cumberland.
I mean, I interviewed him,
Yeah, sure.
right? And he looked at the numbers that were coming in from the runners.
Yep, what the bed?
Yeah, and now this will blow your mind. We had a candidate for mayor right here on the air say, I'm not even so sure I'm going to even bother with runners. State Board of Elections website has got it, and everything is so electronic now
Right.
that we're going to have a good handle on it, as good as we could get with runners that night. So he
have-
says, why should I, stress out a bunch of volunteers? Let them come to the party and watch with the rest of us.
That's a good point. We have runners for the fellow that I'm.
Well, this is the first time
Yeah, no,
in my history that
yeah.
we're not using runners, because I remember before there were runners,
Sure.
where the only runners were the person with the sealed envelope coming from the polling place to Board of Canvassers headquarters.
that's it,
Those were
exactly.
the only runners.
Exactly.
And they were when I first started, if I recall, they were escorted. They got into a police cruiser, and the police cruiser delivered them to Main Street,
Yeah.
to City Hall.
I think they still do that.
Yeah.
By the way, when they get everything together,
Yeah.
the police, I think, escort it to wherever. Well,
It's a
be
good
the Board
idea.
of Elections.
It's
I
a
think
good
it is
idea.
too, because it's here is the security. But going back, we had a race back, and it was a race for, I believe, a council seat. Maybe not. Maybe no. Maybe it was one of the House seats, and it was a tie.
Yeah.
And they had.
I think I'm remembering that one.
Yeah,
but
it
what
was
it?
Lemoy and Bruce Lemoy, and I'm trying to think of the other person.
Was it
And
Ewick?
no. But yeah, I know Bruce Lemoy was Jim McLaughlin, so it was a House
Okay,
seat.
Yeah.
And they came down to a tie, and then they had to, and then just the
went
sequence
out
you
back to
just
Board of
mentioned, they went
Canvassers
back
and-
and looked and.
And drew straws,
Yeah,
right?
I think it ended up one vote.
Oh,
For
yeah.
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 All right, we're going to take a break here on the Coffee and program, but more coming your way. Any comments or questions can be called in at 766-1240.
Woonsocket City Councilor Dan Gendron has served Woonsocket well for years. When Woonsocket needed to replace an antiquated water plant for clean, safe drinking water, Dan did his part to see our new water treatment plant built and become the envy of the state. As council president, Dan saw his duty and did it, working as our mayor when the office was vacant and refusing to take the salary. Later, seeing a vacancy on the council, Dan won the special election to fill the vacant council seat. Now, with 5 of the 7 city councilors not running for re-election, Dan knows Woonsocket will need someone of his experience, dedication, and love of his city to stay on the city council. Whenever he's seen the need, Dan Gendron has stepped up and done what Woonsocket needed to have done. Now it's your turn. Vote for Dan Gendron for City Council.
Paid for by friends of Daniel M. Gendron.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores. Coffee and an ON. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here, along with Dave Richards and former
Is it
Mayor
Joe Callahan?
I think so. Bill Murray is with
I
us
heard of a
as
Kevin
well.
Callahan. They're
What-
not him, huh?
Yeah, put him to the side. Anyway, Bill, in Cumberland, from your standpoint, how does the mayoral race look? There's two people running, correct?
There's two.
Okay, and-
Brad Dean is the challenger. Excuse me, is the challenger, and the current mayor Jeff Mutter. I think it's going to be right down to the wire. I wouldn't have said that a month and a half, 2 months ago. It's been a lot of back and forth. But from what we get, because to be up front, I'm supporting Brad Dean. And by doing that, we're getting a lot of information back and forth. And I think he has a legitimate shot of winning.
Okay.
But that's my view.
Right.
But I think
Well,
that
We were asking you how you saw the race.
Yeah.
well, it's really really going to be tight. I really believe there's a lot of good
Well, there you go.
council races, and
It's
there's
not
also
the only one. They say the presidential race is very tight right now.
I've been right on top of it. Did you see in the paper that there's a possibility? Well, Trump's making ground in Rhode Island, and I can't believe that.
Yeah,
as
yeah,
a
right.
Democrat,
Sure, great.
Well, no, they're saying
Yeah,
Chris,
right.
Chris and Warwick. I'm not saying he's going to
That's
win.
right. And we're going to
But-
have a 20-foot snowstorm on Thanksgiving,
Well,
right? I got
okay.
it.
No,
Yeah.
no.
I've heard all these
Just
things
look at the
before.
journal. Just
Fake news planted by
Journal.
social media.
Well, look at the journal. That's not fake news, is
Oh,
it?
really?
Oh, see? Now
I
we're
don't
getting
know.
down
I have my opinions about
Yeah,
it.
well, I'm sure you do. I do too. And
Has the
no.
race been what you consider clean in Cumberland? Have you been happy with the back
No,
and
I
forth?
haven't.
No, okay.
No, because
I didn't know if there's been some negativity going
no,
on there.
yeah, unfortunately, because of social media, and not by the candidates as much as by the onlookers.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Even I got dragged in. I'm out of there 6 years. So
Okay.
I just did a podcast because I wanted to clear the air on a couple of subjects.
Yeah.
And they asked me to do it. I said I'd be thrilled to, because I want to, clear the air on a few things that were said. The problem is, on that social media, is so many different versions come out.
Yeah.
What is the right one?
And you can never see them all.
No, you can't.
You know,
no.
back in the big cities where there used to be 2, 3, 4 newspapers,
Right.
you could get them all.
Right.
And get everybody's point of view.
right.
Social media, you can't. It's hidden to you.
Right.
You only see your friends and
Right.
people who pay to be put in front of you.
Sure, and it's usually the ones. It's not the. I mean, I know the Mayor Mata very well, and I chose during the process after he beat me to be, friendly with him, helped him on a few things, but it's the people usually behind the candidates that cause the different problems.
Right. Okay. Well, we'll let Dave weigh in on this one. I don't know, if, Bill, if you heard of this, but an FCC commissioner, Federal Communications Commissioner, speaking out against Vice President Harris's surprise Saturday Night Live appearance.
I just
She was on
heard it,
Saturday
yeah.
Night Live. In a post on X, Commissioner Brendan Carr called the appearance, quote, a clear and blatant effort to evade the FCC's equal time rule, unquote. The equal time rule allows rival candidates to request equal airtime. Carr, which is a Trump appointee to the FCC, said, quote, the purpose of the rule is to avoid exactly this type of biased and partisan conduct, unquote. SNL executive producer Lorne Michaels had previously said in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter that neither candidate would appear on the show before the election laws. Because of the election laws, sorry. Wrong words. In response to a user who told him to do something as FCC commissioner, Carr said he hopes his colleagues on the commission would agree it would require action by the FCC chair. Dave, what action could the FCC chair do in this situation?
It's been done.
What's been done?
No.
Whatever.
No. Bill, I caution you as a friend. Don't get involved in this. This is pure
Okay.
electioneering by reporters who don't have the facts, don't care to get the facts, but they got to get the story on anyway. And no, really no. There's no firsthand reporting on that, other than the fact that the vice president, candidate for president of the Democratic Party, appeared on national TV in a skit, like so many had done before through the years on that show. That show, of course, has since the mid '70s has enjoyed the protection of updated and clarified laws where you can do many things that would maybe be considered rude or not right for the sake of satire. They use the term satire for humor, because satire isn't always yuck funny, but they can do that. So here's the deal. People get this wrong. If we had a candidate for office, let's just say, just for the laughs, so that you'll understand that this is an example and that I'm not proposing anything. Suppose we had one of the two candidates for president on the air here on this program, and we invited them, and they said, okay, we're coming. We are obliged to offer the other candidate, should they want it, equal time. And there's so many rules. I mean, they have to, the one that didn't get on has to, apply in writing within 168 hours of the broadcast, and then they have to be granted equal or like time, and that sort of thing like that. Okay, let's get out of the weeds on that one and just say it's like this. In my example, suppose candidate Harris here wants to come on, and we have been doing sketches here that have been portraying her with one of our staff.
All right.
In the past, it has been fun, funny, great for the ratings to have that actor, or in this case actress, that is portraying that candidate encounter the actual candidate during the sketch. And this is what happened on Saturday night. All right. So believe me, it wasn't a surprise to the Trump people. I assure you that, because I know from the mechanics of having so many of my friends that work on that show, I know that no later than 4 p.m., anybody who wanted to know knew where Kamala Harris was and what she was going to do. And of course, the show went live at 11:30, and she was in the cold open, so she actually appeared at about 11:36. So they knew. Mr. Trump has been portrayed by several different actors on the show at several different positions, at several different times during his political life and prominence. He has decided it's not funny. I don't like it. I don't like you guys. You're in the doghouse. Go away, dry up, and be dead. This is what Mr. Trump has said in social media about Saturday Night Live. So earlier this year, when people are saying, hey, you're going to do that stuff with Trump and with Harris, Lorne Michaels is the producer, and he says, probably not. But as time has gone along, they came up with a really good sketch, and one of the candidates said, yeah, I'll come and do it. Knowing the other side wouldn't. But now Dave Richards is going to go to the place where Dave Richards doesn't know what happened, and I'm going to label it right now. But I'll tell you what I think happened, because Lorne Michaels ain't no idiot. All he had to do to cover his hiney and the behinds of all the NBC affiliates who aired that program from FCC Action was to, when the decision was made that Harris would be on the show, contact through some written or reliable means, don't post it on social media, in other words, but to actually send a message to the Trump campaign saying, Harris is going to be on the show. You are invited. We will write you in a similar sketch.
Yes or no? Do you want to be here?
Right.
Okay.
And
makes
if
sense.
they said
Makes-
no or did not respond in time for
Okay.
production deadlines,
Yeah.
they were out. And Saturday Night Live NBC, all the affiliates are harmless. Now what you got is a political appointee who happens to have, because he knew the right people at the right time, a seat on the FCC. People are saying, you got to do something about that. And he says, yeah, this is a great idea. I could get some press time on this. Sure. So I'm going to go on social media and say I'm going to do something about it, and that the chairman should do something about it. However, Ms. Rosenworcel,
is that the chair?
Who lives in Bristol, Rhode Island, and is the politically appointed chairman of the FCC, knows better. All they got to do is ask Lorne Michaels, did you and or your staff contact the Trump campaign before the show was, when the other one was booked and when you knew that she was going to be on? Did you contact them and give them a chance to be there?
And you're thinking the answer is probably yes. They probably did.
I'm thinking
makes sense.
Lorne Michaels is no idiot.
No, that's
right.
what I
You
have to
don't
agree.
get 50 years of a top network TV show being an idiot.
Right. Okay.
He knows. If Dave Richards knows, Lorne Michaels knows. And so I can't believe today, this morning, while I'm live on this radio station, I can't believe he didn't do that. It's so simple. Knowing that Mr. Trump probably would refuse, maybe hoping that he would refuse, it doesn't matter. If he was offered, no equal time.
He's going to cover his backside.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think it's spot on. I really do. It's
Okay.
So all of this is just fun electioneering.
Of course it is. All right. We got to take a break here in the Coffee and program. It's time for a look at the forecast, which is being brought to you by Allstate.
Partly sunny skies today with a high of 54 degrees and a calm wind. Tonight, mostly cloudy, overnight low of 43. Tuesday's weather, mostly sunny skies, high of 70. Wednesday, mostly sunny, 76. Thursday, mostly sunny, 66. Friday, sunshine and 61. Saturday, sunshine and 57 degrees. And on Sunday, mostly sunny skies and 58 degrees.
Outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street, under partly cloudy skies, we have 37 degrees. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Hello, my name is Melissa Murray, and I'm the state senator for Woonsocket and North Smithfield, District 24. With the election almost here, you're probably hearing a lot of political ads just like this one, and you're likely getting a whole lot of political mailers. Let's be honest, no one politician has the power to change everything, but I believe that when you're an elected official, you should use that position to do right by your constituents. The bills that I sponsor as your state senator come from the things I've learned in conversations with you, like fighting for state education funding our district's children deserve, pushing back against big pharma and insurance companies that put profits over your well-being, and passing a law to prevent medical debt from affecting your credit score. These are the kinds of issues which have become my priorities, because fighting for issues like these help people like you. That's why I'm asking for your vote to re-elect me, Melissa Murray, today or on Election Day, this Tuesday. Paid for by Friends of Melissa Murray.
If you're thinking about doing holiday shopping out of town to save some money, before you do, would you give your local merchants a chance to serve you first? Don't automatically assume you'll get a better deal out of town. You might be surprised to learn how competitive local merchants truly are. Besides, most local businesses would rather go out of their way to work with you than to see you take your business out of town. So give it a second thought and give a local merchant the chance to earn your business. This holiday season, please do your shopping here at home.
One of our great hometown merchants is Inferno Audio, 160 Clinton Street, Woonsocket.
Hi, this is Gary Smith. Join me for Do You Remember, Tuesday through Friday mornings at 9:30 here on ON Radio.
It's Coffee In on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here, along with Dave Richards and Bill Murray. So just off the top of your heads, guys, what do you think for the turnout nationwide tomorrow for the election? We're looking at a high turnout?
I'm not willing to go for that.
No?
I'll say locally, here in Rhode Island and nearby Massachusetts,
Yeah.
I'm saying much higher than usual. We could approach 40% voting.
Okay. Bill, what do you say?
I'm just going to
Because I'm looking at the weather forecast. Look at it.
72 degrees, and I fully agree with.
We just put it on the air. Ours says 70, but you know,
No,
it's the same.
going to be But I agree with you, and I did sit with Joe Fleming, who I think has a pretty good feel. He's a good friend, and we sat for coffee the other day, and he's predicting 19,000 in Cumberland.
Wow.
So that's a huge turnout
We
because
only have
you
21,000 registered in Woonsocket.
I think they told me that it was 22, and then somebody told me it was 24 in Cumberland registered.
And you're thinking 19,000.
That's
over
what Joe
80%.
what Joe said is that he thinks it's going to be around 19. Now, normally on these, I think we're looking at 12 or 13,000. So that normally.
Well, statewide, we're at 20% now,
Right.
roughly.
No, I think I believe it. I think it's because you got to look, and it's so heavily Democratic in Rhode Island. I think that the word is out that you got to get out to vote if you want Harris in there, and I think that's what's going to drive it. If people want to listen, the unions are behind it, and when the unions get behind it.
Unions just sent a bunch of people from Rhode Island up to New Hampshire to help canvass. They didn't have enough bodies to canvass.
Did they in New Hampshire?
Yeah,
Oh.
AFL-CIO Rhode Island. They put a bunch of people on a bus and sent them up to New Hampshire because New Hampshire Democrats were saying, man, we don't have enough bodies here to get the job done. It's the final weekend. And they send them up for the whole weekend.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah,
so
that-
Democrats from Rhode Island went up there to help influence
And I
things
think
in New Hampshire.
and there'll be a big push for the unions to get, and also the unions have been pushing the number one ballot on the Constitution, and that's been a big kind of a big plug on what's going on there. Will that drive it? But I think just Harris alone,
Do the
they're
unions have
worried.
that much influence in Rhode Island anymore?
They absolutely do,
Okay.
in my opinion.
All right.
I've watched it.
I hear
And
people talk and they
No.
thinking that, no.
No, I really believe they do. You know why? Because, and I saw it in the last election, because I was pretty close, with the with what was going on. And what happens is they're able to rally a lot of people out in the door to door,
Yeah.
helping out in the back rooms. In other words, they have a lot of people available to them, of the union people that will stand behind, what the union
Right.
is pushing for. So they do have a lot of
Okay.
a lot of influence.
They have resources.
Absolutely, and that's what you need. Just alone, they can float around with these trucks all lit up and everything. That how many people can do that? So they have I think they have a big influence and always will. They spend a lot of money. Let me put it that way.
Well, all right then. So that's basically most of the election stuff we wanted to go over. So it's gonna be a busy day. You're gonna see a lot of candidates, I think, out today, and a lot of people
Yeah.
canvassing. Out for the
Well, I hope
candidates
he's
out there
right. I mean,
today.
I'd love to see it more than 40%. You don't
Sure.
you rarely see it more than 40%.
But like Dave said, the weather looks great tomorrow, so there's really no excuse not to
Right.
go out and vote. So all right.
I wish we could spend a couple of minutes on these ballot questions, but I just don't see people even caring.
No.
Now,
Okay.
the
It's
ballot
too many,
questions for
too
Rhode
many.
Island 1 through 5 are all Rhode Islanders. We'll see those.
Yeah. Mhm.
You've been hearing me make this message over here on behalf of the Board of Canvassers. We did videos that are available on the Board of Canvassers portion of the city website. We did all of this stuff, but we don't see very much debate happening. You don't walk into Al's place and hear people at the counter saying, "Well, what do you
that
think about
question
question
too.
14 anyway?"
Yeah, that's right.
You just don't see that. It hasn't, the information's out there. Of course, in Woonsocket, it's mostly charter changes, and it's
That's
not.
what Cumberland is too.
Yeah, so-
It's really, it's not. They're not sexy questions. Okay, fine. Do you want everybody at City Hall when they take a job to swear an oath of allegiance?
yeah.
And I think that's kind of stupid. But okay, fine. If you want to, go ahead. I don't really care
See, we got
if they do this or not.
we get the fun questions in Massachusetts, Bill.
Yeah.
Do we
yeah,
want
MCAS.
the MCAS
Oh, yeah.
question? Do we want to make psychedelic drugs legal That's got the biggie going.
Yeah,
Do we
those are
want-
the sexy ones, aren't
I
they?
know. Do we want to up the minimum wage for tip workers? That's another big
Oh, yeah.
going on in the state. So
And I told you what my daughter Nicole told me when she was living in California before the wildfire
Yeah.
scared her out. She had been living there for over a year, and she says, you wouldn't believe the restaurant industry, how many restaurants have gone out of business just in this local area
yeah,
Because
because
of all the reason.
California
Absolutely.
did this
and
a couple of years
the raising
ago.
of the
And now
wages.
Massachusetts is saying, me too, let's do it over here, because we want to throw a lot of restaurants out of business so that the restaurants that survive, the chain restaurants, will make more money.
And the Rhode Island restaurants are very concerned about it, kind of following if Massachusetts passes it.
you'll see it. on
You'll
your
see it in
ballot.
Rhode Island, and they were very concerned
Well,
about it because it will put them out of business.
Yeah.
Let me ask you two gentlemen this question. If they do this,
Right.
who's going to tip?
Well, that's right. You won't.
Why
would you?
I consider myself a generous tipper if the service is good.
Right.
If it isn't, I'll do the minimum because I know they have a family and they're probably trying to make ends meet, and I don't want to be negative and mean to them, but they don't get it. But I'll be the 25 or the 30% on good service. I will, not because I got a lot of money, but because I appreciate what they're doing. If they do it well. And I like doing that. I like rewarding someone for good work.
And so do
Do
the
you-
workers.
But do you work? Do you? If you have a bad waitress or waiter or whatever you want to
Right.
call,
Then they
how
get
do
the
you do that?
15. They get the 15.
Okay, I'm the same case. If I had a girl, I won't mention the restaurant, Friday night, and she was excellent. I mean, excellent personality. Had a couple of things she had to do, and no problem, whatnot. And I did more than I normally would.
Sure.
In fact, it was funny because I didn't have my glasses, and I pushed it over to my wife, and she says, "How much you want to tip her?" And I said, "Tip her this."
Yeah.
And my wife looked at me, didn't say a word, and wrote it down, because I just felt this girl deserved every bit of it. But if I get a lousy waiter or waitress, which
Yeah.
I've had, we go out quite a bit at our age now because my wife is abandoned cooking.
The skillet, yeah,
I
right.
cooked for 5 kids, so I'm not.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I see a lot of these, and
You know what else I do?
What-
If I have a particularly good, personable
Right.
wait staff,
Yep.
I'll calculate the tip, and I'll give it to them in cash so they can go home with it that night.
I never thought of that.
A lot of
I
people do
never,
that now.
I like that.
Yeah.
I do it on a small breakfast place only because it's not a lot of money. It's maybe $20. It's just my wife and I,
Yeah.
and we go to a particular one in Cumberland, and I'll do cash only to just. I don't feel like putting it on my charge, because it's $4 or $5,
Yeah, right.
to leave.
No,
but
but
I never
it makes-
thought.
it
I
makes
think
a-
you just.
it makes
yeah,
an
it makes a
impression
lot of
with them.
sense. Yeah.
And I'll tell them, I says, in case you need gas on the way home tonight,
Oh.
you earned this today.
Yeah.
All right, we did get a question called in, 766-1240. It just says about question 1 about the General Assembly. Yes or no? Do you know what the question 1 is, Dave?
Isn't that the
I
Constitution?
have it written down in the other room. I don't
Isn't
have it
that
in
the
front of me.
Constitution?
It just says about the General Assembly. Yes or
General,
no?
Well, okay.
Unless they mean the one in Massachusetts, and that's about running the audit.
You got a break coming up. Take the break early. I'm going to bring the questions into the room so I can answer responsibly.
Yeah.
I've looked at them all, but it's not ringing a bell.
All right, we'll go take a
you
look
haven't
at that.
voted either.
That's
So
right.
You
I
better,
haven't
you
voted.
better read them.
I'm voting tomorrow.
All right, more
If
coffee
you
and
remember.
more coffee and coming up. Stay tuned.
For an Allstate agent, providing protection options that fit your life is something they take, well, personally. Allstate agents are committed to learning about your needs and helping customize protection to meet them. From bundling your home and auto insurance with ease to evaluating optional coverage, your Allstate agent can help build an insurance proposal that fits your life. And just as important as learning what you need is learning what you don't. Because helping you get coverage you want with savings you deserve is what Allstate is all about. It's time to get coverage that's catered to you. Are you in good hands? Call Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, 2 locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. One telephone number, 765-5000. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Allstate Property and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Hello, my name is Sharon Harmon. I'll only take a minute of your time to tell you why I'm running for Woonsocket City Council. I believe in ethical government. If it's not honesty, Woonsocket doesn't need it. I believe in improving public education. People should have a choice, but I hope they would choose public schools. Everything I do on the council will be working toward increasing affordable housing, addressing homelessness, and supporting veterans. In this way, I believe we can enhance community safety. Now I need to ask for 2 things. First, you have to tell me what I can do for you. I am accessible at 401-206-2747. Lastly, I need you to vote for me so I can help you when I am elected to the Woonsocket City Council. I am Sharon Harmon. You will find me under the letter H on your ballot. Thank you.
Paid for by Friends of Sharon Harmon. Henry's Heroes is doing it again. It's the Henry's Heroes car giveaway. New Englanders Helping Our Veterans and Henry's Auto on Park Avenue, Woonsocket will be giving away 5 gently used and reconditioned cars. The event will take place Saturday, November 23rd at Henry's Auto, 1068 Park Avenue in Woonsocket. In partnership with Henry's Auto, NEHAV, that's New Englanders Helping Our Veterans, is happy to announce the free car raffle for veterans. If you have served our country in any branch of the military, current or retired, and a veteran in need, you are eligible for the car raffle. If you're a caregiver of a veteran, you can also submit an entry on behalf of that veteran. You must show a true need for the vehicle. Please apply only once by November 11th on the NEHAV website. That's New Englanders Helping Our Veterans, or NEHAV.org. Remember, apply to win one of these 5 cars from Henry's Heroes online only at NEHOV.org. Do it by Veterans Day, November 11th.
Okay, Coffee on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callan here with former Mayor of Cumberland, Bill Murray, and Dave went and grabbed his ballot questions. For
Which every voter should have gotten here in Rhode Island. And
so what is question 1, Dave?
question 1 is not General Assembly as much as it is the approve or reject a constitutional convention.
Oh, okay.
And I'm always uncomfortable telling people how to vote. I'm sometimes uncomfortable telling people how I would vote, especially so close to I don't want to be an influencer. Everybody should make up their own mind. But this would be, shall there be a convention to amend and or revise the Rhode Island Constitution? I don't know if you guys want to ring in on it. I mean, you're a Rhode Islander that moved to Massachusetts. You don't vote here, Joe, but you're still a Rhode Islander. You were born and raised a Rhode Islander. You work here. And basically, as I recall it, without revealing too much personal stuff, is that basically you're a Massachusetts person because you married a Massachusetts girl.
True.
Right? I mean, isn't that what took you out of Rhode Island to begin with? Because where she worked,
and where I worked, we went in the middle.
That's right. You went in the middle. Right. I get that. So, but you know, your opinion would be valid. Of course, you just can't act on it. I don't know, does anybody?
Excuse me, as a former Cumberland high school graduate.
Yes, he is.
That's right.
He is.
Very valuable.
Yeah, I always thought so.
Yeah.
So, what's the deal? Does anybody want to ring on it? Is that what we're going to do? Are they asking me to say how I'll vote on it,
It
or
just says about the General Assembly, yes or no?
They're absolutely
Are you for
right.
it or against it?
They're absolutely right. It's yes or no.
Yeah. I like that idea.
That's her answer.
Yeah. The Constitutional Convention. Do you approve or do you reject? There's a couple ways of looking at it. Just to speak about it collegiately, some people think that things should be changed in the Constitution, and a Constitution is a document that should be updated routinely at intervals. And they think that 2025 might be the year to do it, because the last time it was done was 40 years ago.
Oh, okay.
A little
Time for
less
an
than
update,
40
I
years,
guess.
39 years ago. And that is now the time to do it. You'll vote yes, you'll vote no. I don't know. Do you have a feeling that you wanted to express, or you just want to slide on that?
No, I think I think that listening to people too, there's a lot that figure that it's going to create a lot of special interest groups all the time coming in. If it passes.
Bill, they're there already.
Well, that's true, but
This will give them new mischief to conduct.
well, it'll give them an open hand, but it also, if you look at it, is it hasn't been changed in 40. Should there be an update?
Yeah.
Maybe the right answer is let's do an update, but you're not going to change it every
but then
year.
Don't
Yeah,
vote in.
nah,
Then don't vote in what they suggested to change.
You can't, right?
I see. It's a two-step process.
Yeah.
That's valid. Question number 2 was higher education facilities. They want $160.5 million to build buildings and to change things and stuff like that. You got to decide if you want to let them, let them borrow the money or not. The interest on all of that, by the way, it says right down here in the calculations in my book, just the interest for borrowing all of that money, more than $250 million altogether. That's in order to borrow $160 million and change, it's going to cost us more than $250 million, $257 million, because there's $97 million worth of interest in all of that. So
Those questions tend to pass, though.
Yes, they do.
And because people don't read down to the bottom, Dave, and look at that. They just
No.
go, oh, $2 million
Sounds-
at Rick and Euro. Yeah,
sounds good.
That's a good idea.
Yep.
And we voted. It's going to cost money. Well, it's going to cost some money. Okay, fine.
It's even worse on a local level.
Yeah.
You have a local school bond,
Yeah.
I'll guarantee it's
Well,
going to
they're
pass.
asking, on question 3, they were asking for permission to borrow money for housing and community opportunity. $120 million there. That's going to cost us almost $200 million after the interest of $72 million is thrown in
See,
there.
I think that's going to be a no because it's too vague.
Right.
I don't know what I'm
No,
using
it isn't
for.
vague. They got 6 different things they want to spend it on.
Oh,
They
it's
want to
listed
spend,
there?
Yep, $80 million on affordable housing, $10 million on acquisition and revitalization of existing housing, home ownership, $20 million, site acquisition, $5 million, housing-related infrastructure, $4 million, and municipal planning, $1 million. And that's what they have.
All tied around affordable housing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, there's closing
may not
costs of
pass.
hundreds of thousands of dollars of closing costs, by the way.
Naturally, yes.
Yeah. Question number 4, green economy bonds. They want to borrow money so that they can, A, the Port of Davisville infrastructure at Quonset. They want $15 million for that. $2 million for climate resiliency. Brownfields remediation and economic development, $5 million. Local recreation projects, $5 million. Municipal resiliency, $10 million. Newport Cliff Walk, $3 million. Guess how
always
they're going to
want- They
vote.
always want money.
Yeah, but you see the trick there?
What?
There's some in there that are very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'll support the local recreation and everything because we're always
But they're
trying to get
sliding
money.
in $3 million for the Cliff Walk.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
well-
they slide in a few things like that, and so when you do it, you're going
either all or nothing.
Right.
that's exactly.
So anyway, then it's forest and habitat management, open space management, agricultural land preservation committee, millions and millions and millions of dollars. The closing costs for that are $320 something thousand. Just the closing costs. The interest will be $32 million after they're done. So I mean, it costs money to borrow money.
Yeah.
There's no question about that. But, you know,
Big
what's the
money.
benefit afterwards? Everybody should make up their own minds on this.
Look at the interest rates.
Right.
And
And then
that'll tell you.
question number 5, the final one statewide that everybody will see, cultural arts and the economy grant program. They want $10 million for that.
To grow the arts?
Yeah, well, it's like this. There's 3 basic recipients of $6 million of that $10 million. Tamaqua Museum, Newport Contemporary Ballet, and Trinity Repertory Company, each of them getting $2 million that the state will borrow on their behalf.
Well, Trinity Rep's redoing their buildings.
You're right. So Trinity is probably the key there, but
Yeah.
now you
Yeah,
throw
the
the
other
other
two.
two. That's what I just said, that those questions always throw, I mean,
I haven't even
it's a
heard of that.
package deal.
I haven't even heard of that first museum.
Well, it's got to be a South County or something.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
it's a,
I know, but-
yeah.
It sounds like a Native American name.
Tamaqua.
Yeah, so I don't even know what they do.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Now, why would anybody up north want to vote for that? Right?
yeah.
I mean, that's how it
Unless you
breaks.
have an interest in
That's
it,
how
yeah,
it breaks
but-
down. But Trinity, I think everybody would be interested because it does a lot.
It does. Okay. And I was always so, on a different note, and we mentioned when it happened, the PPAC stepped right up and said, you can put on your play of A Christmas Carol
Right,
at our place.
right.
Of course, they're going to make money on it, but
Yeah.
I thought it was nice that they stepped up and said, we're going to keep going with,
Sure.
with this tradition. All right. Another nice thing going on, and
See my point? We didn't even talk about the locals, and you guys want to move on to another topic.
No,
See,
in the local.
This was the point I was making. Nobody
All right.
cares.
yeah, sorry, Dave.
And I think you made the point.
South Kingstown Police saying, you know what? You want to
I
ship
s-
your online packages
I
to your
saw
house?
that.
Ship it to our police station.
Yeah.
They must have room to store
Well,
this stuff.
most police. I mean, if you did that,
So it'd be crowded.
I'll talk.
it.
Well, if you did it in Cumberland, we have that big, of course, new building,
Yeah.
and we have a big room, which is a lecture room or whatever you want, community room. So you could do it in Cumberland and just not have any meetings there until Christmas was finished. But I haven't heard any problems in there. But I guess other areas, there's a lot of problems of this happening.
There are.
And I think that's a nice. If you can do it, I think it's
Yeah, if you get the
I
time,
would.
you get the
If I
space
was
for
down
it.
there running South Kingston, I would applaud it and say, if we can do it, do it.
I'm sure a lot of people will take advantage of it too.
Because you know how serious it is when, say, you've gone out and you bought a lot of your gifts for your kids, and somebody steals them,
Yeah.
and now you got to go out again and do get them something anyway.
Right. Over the weekend down in Providence at the convention center, and I'm sure at the AMP as well, Rhode Island Comic Con was in town, and they had some big names there. That you could go see. Michael J. Fox was there. Christopher Lloyd was there from Back to the Future. But you know what the problem is with Comic Con is the cost. Okay, yeah, it costs money to get in, but if you wanted to, and I looked this up, if you wanted to pick a picture of you and Michael J. Fox together,
Yeah.
$225.
Oh wow.
If you want to, okay, that's a professional
Sure.
photo.
Sure.
If you want to take a selfie with him, well, it's like 180.
For a selfie.
Yeah, on your camera, with you holding it.
Yeah,
up.
yeah. No, I hear.
I'm like,
Oh, my.
but everybody there, I mean, is like that. Mm-hmm. And I get it. That's how these people make some extra cash.
Yeah.
I
But do they get a
I
big
sup-
crowd? Is it a big crowd that goes?
From what I saw yesterday, yes.
Oh,
And
okay.
they do get a lot of people showing up, and everyone's and everybody's selling something of theirs.
Yep.
Other pictures, and you can get like just an autograph,
Right.
but those are like $60 a person, and you get to talk to them for a little while and shake hands, I guess. And,
Sure.
And I'm like, but that's why I don't go to these things. You guys, this is outrageous.
If you think about it, it's like, and you and I both, and Dave, are into sports. How about you go, you go and you see one of your favorite players? How many times have you seen the phone stick out there and the player
yeah.
allows it? But now they're going to say, "Oh, it's $100."
That's right.
That's it's crazy.
When I was down at the McCoy Stadium, and they decided to bring in some a pro wrestling event.
Yep.
And part of the deal was you could meet them before the show.
Right.
And so I had to work there that night. So I went down there and I got to see some of them. And one of them was talking to me, but as soon as he figured out I wasn't buying anything, he walked away from me.
Oh yeah.
I am done talking with
yeah,
you,
yeah.
and I'm off to somebody else that's
Sure.
going to buy.
Sure.
Like
It's all money.
It was all money, and I saw one guy who's, he was at the top of his game in the '80s, and but he wanted money too. But I was 10 feet from him, and like, okay, this is as close as I'll ever get to this guy.
Yep.
And there he is. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't take a picture.
That's all you
I didn't
needed.
get an autograph. I don't need to shake your hand.
Well,
He,
I mean,
he looked at me. I remember that. But okay,
isn't it all driven by money now?
I guess it is.
Look at Soto from the Yankees.
He's already said he's going, right?
Yeah, he's already, as soon as the World Series is over, and during it, because of being a Yankee fan, I've watched it very intently, and everything was fine.
Yeah.
He loved the Yankees, this and that, and as soon as it was over, I'm going for the big
I'm going for the
bucks.
money. Yep.
Right.
Funniest joke I seen though on Facebook, Bill, over the weekend was Aaron Judge is going to be in Times Square on New Year's Eve so he can drop the ball.
Oh, that's dirty. That's dirty. Yeah, I thought that's good.
I said,
I love it.
Someone's really thinking.
Yeah, yes.
I like
That's
when,
good.
I like when people put out the
I'm sure he's going to
clever ones
remember
like
all
that.
winter too.
Oh,
Makes it catch up against the fence, and then he drops
and how
it.
about
Oh,
who's the pitcher that didn't cover first base?
and he's going, by the way.
Is that
Cole?
Cole? Yeah.
Cole wouldn't.
What
Well,
is-
it's a combination: the first baseman and the pitcher.
Well, he should have covered first.
Absolutely, it's a standard that every pitcher in
Instead of
Little
what you
League,
do.
Little League
You
learns,
start in
right?
Little League, yeah.
I remember you catch it.
Where's my pitcher?
You had no problem.
But they were just pointing at the first baseman. It's you.
Oh,
it's
I
up-
know.
It's you.
No.
You got it. It's not me. It's
No.
you.
And by the way, Cole just rejected his contract.
With the
He has
Yankees.
his option. He's gone.
Wow. Okay.
So
Well,
Red Sox could be picking up.
We're breaking up the Yankees.
Yeah,
Are
exactly.
they firing Aaron Boone?
Oh, I would think so.
Oh, all right.
That's going to be my guess.
Okay. We'll see what happens there.
He got out coached.
Yes,
So,
he did.
so
Yes, he did.
I have to admit to that.
And his players didn't help either.
No, but he got out coached.
All right, that'll do it for the show for today. Thank you very much for listening in. Thanks to former Mayor of Cumberland, Bill Murray, for coming in. Thanks for coming in, Bill.
It's always a pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.
All right, and good luck with your with whoever you're voting for tomorrow. So see how
Okay,
it
thank you.
goes. And Dave, thanks for coming in and going over the questions with us. That was important.
Well, it's really great being with Bill because of his experience in the electric thing. We get a chance to talk election today and get everybody in the mindset so they can make their choices either today or tomorrow if they haven't already. But did you know that there are 7 people on the ballot? I just pulled up my sample ballot that I'll be looking at tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
There are 7 people to vote for president. So if
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
like
Oh,
the
I-
first
I-
2,
Yeah.
there are other people.
I
Do you know?
did see
I
that.
saw that. Yeah.
Do you know
Libertarian.
RFK is on our ballot in Rhode Island?
He's on a number of them.
And he's not, but he's
because
not in Mass.
He tried to get him. He
Yeah.
tried to get it off, and they wouldn't do it.
They wouldn't do it.
There are many.
Then there's a guy named Robbie Wells, representing the Party.
The party. Oh, cool. Great.
Then there's Chase Oliver, representing the Libertarians.
Yeah.
God
The
bless.
Green Party, represented by Jill Stein,
Stein,
again.
Stein.
Okay.
Again, she's always their candidate. Claudia Dela Cruz, the Socialism and Liberation Party. You could vote for any of those folks today or tomorrow here in Woonsocket.
All right. And they're all
Or
listed alphabetically, right?
nearby.
All
They
right.
are.
That'll do it for the show for today. Thank you very much for listening in. Stay tuned for Leslie Page at the library, then Food First with Karen Zare and Gary. Special Tiki Bar tonight at 5 because the Woonsocket City Council meeting will be on at 6 here on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news.